Good evening, everyone.
I don't know.
Are we on?
We're on, yes.
It doesn't show.
Yeah.
Oh, I just didn't put it over.
Good evening, everyone. We're gonna start our planning board meeting for September the 9th at 6:30 p.m. Can I get a motion to open the public hearing for 10-12 Warren Street?
I make the motion to open.
I'll second.
All in favor? Okay, it's 10-12 Warren Street. No? Oh,
So, my understanding, TJ Wayne, I represent the applicant, is that this matter was set to be adjourned to the next meeting.
you're on the public hearing, so if the open and close it, we can't,
That's what I meant to say.
But we did say something about you including the church into your traffic study.
As they're working on that now, and that's why we need the additional.
And also valley parking. Okay,
Because all of the comments that were brought up on the record at the last meeting are being incorporated, they should be able to go this
All right.
time. That's all.
so can I get a motion to adjourn this until next month?
You guys, public thing.
Yeah, you
Oh.
have to ask, you do it.
Public. Anybody from the planning board, any questions I wanted?
I do not.
Okay, all right, anybody from the public? You have any hands up there?
Not that I can see.
Anybody in the audience? Oh, yeah, anybody from the public?
No.
Okay. So can I get a motion to adjourn this public hearing for 10-12 to October, what? Oh,
You
no,
guys, kept the date, right? Just move the-
we kept the date, we just moved the location. To October 14th.
At the firehouse.
Mhm.
What?
It's,
We're gonna have the meeting at the firehouse, we're gonna have it on the date. Because October that Monday, that Monday, October 13th is a holiday. So when it's a holiday on the Monday, the common council moves their legal meeting to
No,
holiday.
okay, all right.
And then we have to move, but normally we would have moved one day over, but the zoning has that.
Okay,
So we're gonna hold on to our date, we're just gonna change the location
okay.
to the fire. So
And it's the
At
14th.
6:30 on the 14th.
Okay.
Okay. Now, can I get a motion to open up the public?
no, you got a little close.
Oh.
I make a motion to close the open hearing on 10-12 Warren Street. No, you made a motion to adjourn the public hearing to October 14th on firehouse. I make a motion to adjourn the public hearing for 10-12 Warren Street to October 14th at the firehouse.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Now, can I get a motion to open up the public hearing for 59 North Front Street? A motion to open up the public,
I'll make the motion to open up the public.
second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 59 North Front Street, are you here?
Hi, yeah, hey, I'm David, I represent the applicant, we don't have a lot of new information to give you, similarly to Warren Street. We got a lot of comments, we're working on the water plans and that sort of thing. Thanks for Chris for, chiming in the past couple of weeks. We are waiting on formal comments from the board on our parking and traffic study that was submitted 6 weeks ago. We've yet to receive that. We were told a month ago at this meeting that those comments were available. We haven't gotten them yet, so they're gonna get that. I'll get them there. Great, yeah, okay. And are there any other comments? We've submitted a number of things in the past 2 months that we've gotten no formal comments on. I just want to make sure that anything that we've done so far has been commented on.
You had said something, you had submitted something about changing the sidewalk. Did you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so we have been emailing and working with Chris on clarifying the sidewalk needs and plans.
So you're not gonna do this guy? Or you all gonna do it?
We're not gonna do a what, sir?
Clarify sidewalk.
Yeah, so we're gonna run the sidewalk down the western side, as we've been talking about, of North Front Street. We're gonna have a push in, as Chris recommended, for the bus to allow the
Okay,
bus to
good.
fully get off the street. And made some adjustments to the arterial plan to be able to accommodate that.
Now, the parking for your staff and Your parking is across the street and right
And
away.
that's all been addressed in the parking study that we submitted to you, and that's what I'm asking for comments on.
Okay, how about the side, what you mentioned last one, something about being the side, what are you gonna do over there? For,
We're not gonna do anything on the eastern side. Yeah,
So one comment that I discussed with the engineer and the chair is in order for us to consider the parking across the street as part of your site plan, you're gonna need to include the lot, at very least, if not the whole site, onto your site plan. And it can be read as one whole campus, so aren't they integrated? Isn't that also utilized by the school concurrently?
they're separate parcels
Understood,
owned by the same entity,
okay?
and similar activities happen on both sides of the street. With the same staff in some cases, yes.
But in order for that board to ensure parking. If you're guaranteeing spots for, well, sorry, I'm looking wrong, to guarantee spots for the. For the school, you and put it in your parking study, there has to be some mechanism for the board to ensure those spots are always used.
I understand, if you could put those comments
Okay.
in the comments to our parking plan. We can address that.
well,
You
Yeah.
understand, like, otherwise the board has no mechanism to enforce that parking that you're counting. You have to ensure some way to maintain that.
Okay, similar to many other applicants.
Yeah, we need to add it to the site plan, so Fairview, we need to add it to the site plan, other boards that it. Basically, if you're gonna have parking across the street, you're gonna have to add it to the site plan.
So if you could add those comments, we could address them.
okay. Any questions from the planning board for 59 North Front Street?
I will say we are preparing a full revised set. To present to you in advance of the October meeting. That we're hopeful has addressed all of your comments to date, I feel like we. Trying to be really clear where we're headed and what we're doing. And it's our intention to have a provable set for you guys for
Well,
next meeting.
I have a question.
They have not addressed it yet.
Okay,
What's
is
that?
that gonna be addressed?
I didn't hear you, sorry.
The.
Yeah, so we're working on, we were given a couple different options. One was a compensatory cut and fill. We are preparing a HEC study, which is the alternate that Chris is doing.
And I would like to, well. Would we like to see a sidewalk, but have you guys been down there?
Mhm.
So have you seen what's going on? What I've realized is that. Buildings are coming in that building and they're not paving, and that does cause problems down there, so we have an opportunity with this particular applicant. To impose that, they pay, do the sidewalk, pay, you know, just make it nice, cause over on the side where they have the parking. It's just gravel and dirt, am I right?
The eastern parcel, which is not part of this application. Is,
If we
Gravel
remove that
lot.
side for the parking,
yeah,
then I would say this.
I'm not clear what you're asking us to do, sorry.
In other words, I'm looking at. That you need to pave that area for the sidewalk, make it more presentable, instead of leaving it as dirt and gravel.
So that parcel was approved through y'all. For the building that's on that site just a few years ago. And. I hear what you're saying, but that's not the application that we have in front of you right now for that parcel. We are applying for work on the western side of the
But you're
street.
making,
So
If
as
we
I
need to
said,
decouple the parking from the eastern side, I would love to hear your notes about parking.
okay,
We could
we'll,
address
we'll,
your
write-
parking.
we'll put it in our notes,
We
okay?
are not in a position to repave that road, nor build a sidewalk down the eastern side of North Front Street.
so then preliminary, like, we'll put our comments in writing.
Great.
You have to, unless you can show it's on the original site plan, it's not counted twice. And I apologize, that wasn't your original, so maybe that site does already contain those parking spots. You're gonna have to decouple everything.
That's fine, if you give us some feedback on what we need to do.
We will
do that.
give you
There's
feedback.
plenty of parking down there, nobody goes there. It's fine.
I'm orally telling you my feedback, I will put it in writing, but Dracula, I'm not telling you feedback, I'm telling you right now.
I'm telling you,
And the sheriff's telling you,
Exactly.
in order for the board to rely on parking from a parking study. On site, that you're considering on site parking, anything on site needs to be on site plan, so you're going to have to add that lot. To this site plan or decouple it and give you the permits.
and if you add it, it's enough.
So it's up to you, you have either option. I will put this in writing, but you have either option, you could either put it on, you could either add it to the site plan and then you're gonna have to pay it, that's what the board wants. Or you have to decouple it and redo, say where you're recall parking. And we can have that discussion, I understand the parking, the parking requirements of Hudson are not always clear cut. So I understand, but I just said you can't say there's spots and then not provide for us.
Does everybody,
Does everyone understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
you understand, any questions?
Yeah, we've just been begging for formal feedback.
No, not from you, I'm asking them.
Yeah, sorry, I mean,
Any questions?
I guess because I wasn't here when the first lot was approved. There are a number of parking spots there that were approved for that.
the parking that exists there was approved as part of that plan, right? Yes,
So,
I also was not part of that, but that's my understanding, yes.
So it's not double counted, that's fine as well, so let's say in there, and I wasn't here when we approved it, and I don't know, if Victoria was, I have to ask her. And look at the plan, make sure I haven't seen the file. So if you could prove that, let's say you counted 6 for employees and I don't know, 20 for guests or something, and that it was not the time. Then in theory, as long as you're not double counting the spots, you're just gonna, you can count that on that other site plan, because then the parking is stopped, I would still want you to show it. But it's different than having it, you can't double count spots, is basically. what
I
I'm saying.
understand, yeah, I totally understand that,
We'll put it in our notes, okay,
That-
then we
that
can
sounds
address it then,
Yeah.
and then we'll go over it.
that sounds fair, yeah.
Yeah,
Questions from the board or the public for 59 North Front Street? Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn the public hearing for 59 North Front Street to October the 14th, 2025? On that Tuesday, but at the firehouse, 6. The applicant said will be prepared and ready for it.
That's right, yeah, we're gonna send a big
My
new
apologies.
package.
So what date did you say?
October the 14th,
October the 14th.
Right.
Yeah. So I make a
6:30
motion,
PM at the fire.
so I make a motion to close this hearing and to adjourn it to
To adjourn.
October 15th at the firehouse.
Thank you.
All in favor? Oh, second.
Second.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Bye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Can I get a motion to open the site plan for 724-726? Open up the public hearing for 724-726 Columbia Street.
I'll make the motion to open the
Who's
public.
second? I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
724-726 Columbia Street.
Evening board, TJ Lorraine again, attorney for Galvin Foundation for this project. I have here with me Josh Moon for Galvin and Walter Chatham. We're here with the revised site plan, response to the request at the last meeting. Which Walter will go over.
Yes, hi. So I think everybody knows that this is a proposal, this is the return to a regular. This is a proposal for turning this now vacant building into a theater with accessory, lobby and the back of the house stuff. And the last time we were here, Randall, you asked very recently a question, what happens if there's a fire? We do have, pages and pages of notes and analysis, but we boiled this down to a diagram. I think it's useful because there are a couple of interesting things in here. We're proposing a use that would be limited to 300 feet. That's the business plan, the idea, what works for the theater, what they think the capacity is. Because it's a 10,000 square foot building, fire code allocates to a number of square feet per use, so we actually have a capacity for almost 200. So, they have, sorry, we have to do that. 900 people. If you just take the fire department's straight regulations, now I'm going to explain what starts to eat into that. Because you're limited by the number and size of your exits. And because we're sort of building, I believe it's 1.5 inches per occupant. So for every occupant, you need 1.5 inches of exits. So we did just the raw numbers, and based on that, and to answer your question, we come up with 521 maximum possible occupants for the theater. 311 in the lobby that standing occupancy, and then 57 back of house, that's like dressing rooms and so forth. So that comes in just under 900 people, it's a change. So we have 68 inches here, which gives us capacity for 453 occupants. We have 34 inches here, which just gives us capacity for 226 occupants. Then we have 62 inches here, which gives us capacity for 413. So you add those all up and meet the requirements, but there's a kicker, which is there's a law that says if there's an emergency and an exit is blocked. So you have 3 exits, which are required to have calculated what we can do as fuel. So if we took out the largest exit, we'd be left with capacity for 226 out of this, 415 out of this, so about 600 occupants. So twice the occupancy that we'd be proposing. Now the fire department, the building inspector will put a number of occupants on the building not to exceed, and that would be determined by the egress.
But you're saying that you're asking,
Sorry?
Would you be willing to put that as a plan though, that you won't ever go more than 600 or whatever, 900, whatever it's gonna be. Well, no. So no, 1,200 I thought was the fire code. So he said you can have more with the fire code, but if you're proposing never to reach fire code, are you willing to put it on the plan, then you'll, in plan notes that you'll just sort of opposite.
Yes, so the numbers from the number are about 900 people possible because of the raw space. About 600 people possible because of the discounting the largest egress requirement on the calculations. And then 300 is their target for the charges.
okay, and that's what you're gonna have in your paperwork. The 300.
So that's why I'm asking, if we put it in the resolution, it'd be a plan note. And it'd be a plan note, so if they ever reach above 300, then create a site plan. So that's what the board wants to do. I'm not saying you have to make that condition, but to make what he's saying enforceable, you have to put a plan on. If that's what you wanna do, I mean, I don't know if it matters to you more, but.
So I have 2 questions. So you're saying you don't ever plan to use the larger door as part of your fire?
So we do, but you know about this code thing.
No,
I didn't know about it, I'm learning about things all the time, so the theory is that you can calculate the total number of occupants for the exit widths that you add up. But then, in a realistic situation where there's a fire, it's very likely that one exit at least will be blocked. So that's a kind of arbitrary thing, but in order to kind of create a margin of safety, the code that I read saying you take the largest exit, just knock it out, so that it gets it back here, so you just count what this is. Then you calculate on what you have left, and then you have left the system.
You're saying, okay.
But my other question was, we were talking about the fire exits, I think in relation to people leaving.
Yes,
So I was saying, if you had a plan so that when people left the theater after the performance, that they didn't all try to exit through the front area,
well now,
that would be, that you would avoid that congestion. Because then people come in a staggered method
so.
to a theater, but they exit all at the same time.
So using the same calculation as we're using for occupancy in the lobby.
Yeah.
This space here, not counting the planning, just this hatched area has a capacity for 476 people. Now, again, that's 176 more. You know, that would be standing shoulder to shoulder like at a reception or something, or if there was a breakout and people were outside standing. But I thought actually this was the point we were trying to get at. But what happens on a busy night when people come out here? And the answer is it's between the lobby and this, we have the capacity for, again, almost 800.
But my question, do we create an unsafe condition by putting 300 people in that little square? And I have pictures of it, where they're gonna either try to cross the street or do something, because the nature of that street is when you come past the gas station, it's a blind turn.
Yeah.
So you turn in, when you're making that turn, you're not expecting people walking to cars and all over the place. And 300 people are not just gonna orderly just stand there.
So the community theater just has that, if, when it was working as a theater, just has that little, that portico that you would come out and.
Oh, you mean the one in Casket?
No, the one here.
Oh, that's a couple.
It was tennis building.
Talking about the old building?
Yeah, the old tennis building.
How long ago was that? Cause I've been here 30 years.
That's much larger than.
I've been here since
Well,
'93,
that's
and
my
it wasn't
point.
over then.
It's double the capacity that we're proposing,
Right.
and they have a breakout and come out space under that portico.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Where the columns are, and the sidewalk, this is about 2 to 3 times the size of that portico.
Well,
This
Randall,
is-
so
This is.
originally, and I'm sorry, I'm basing this off a discussion I had with Randall, like during a general meeting. Remember, they did get the land swap, so you can ask for, they now have the ability to put stuff not in the right of way, but they can put stuff like, you know, they want bollards, for example, for cars. They now own the land in land swap. They have approval now to land swap, so they now have more flexibility on what they can do on the. You know, to prevent traffic and drive, they can now reroute the traffic, right? What they originally proposed is not, so it's less of a concern.
But
Now,
there's still a lot of people, like, what's the objection to allowing people to exit out on, State, is that State Street?
That's on a non-emergency.
Yeah, non-emergency.
Non-emergency.
You don't have handicap access. And this leads right, this sidewalk goes right into the public square, 7th Street, 8th Street, public square.
But you're negating a whole huge busy section of the street. When you come from the gas station and hook around there, you don't see
Not even
the
over to the
traffic.
gas station, just when you come to.
Yeah, I get what I'm saying, when you're coming from Green Street over, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so is all you're saying, you want us to exit here?
Yeah, allow some people to exit there, and that splits the traffic, and,
People will have to go out this place.
right, yeah, don't corral them, so they all have to be.
So we would, I'm sure, agree to make this back, you know, like this, the performance is open, we just open the back
That's what I'm
door,
asking.
they go out.
So
Right,
that's
so
what
there's
they're
Exactly.
multiple
Well, that's-
exits on
so that's
non-emergency.
what Said, and I made a joke at the last one, because these people just stumble right in.
They can just go right to Return Brewery, yeah, there you go, so.
They don't even have to hit the sidewalks.
So we agree on that.
Yeah, yeah, as long as that's, yeah,
I'm sorry.
Non-emergency, more exits that are also non-emergency.
Yeah, no, these two, we do it, and now that we've captured this, we, you know, depending on the theater operation, sometimes they might open. Those
So,
spots.
and for clarification, Randall, so you're not concerned about people I guess I read it backwards. You're not concerned about people lining up for going in a shot. You're worried about people exiting all at once, just
well,
right?
that is part of it, but generally, I feel because they have an inside lobby. People can come in, and I'm sure they'll allow people to come into the lobby, they won't make everybody wait outside.
Right.
But it's been my experience at the end of the night, when people just want to leave.
Yeah, right.
And so if they all leave in that section, people are gonna congregate, you have people in the street.
Right.
and everybody-
And cars trying to pick up people.
What I was gonna say about the bollards, like, you're assuming, again, you want people, if you wanna confirm people line up, you have to meet that. As part of the site plan review, as a condition, but.
Right, so I don't,
So
I,
I was understanding backwards,
no, that's okay, but how do we,
We're gonna make it as a
you
condition.
could make it a condition,
Yeah,
that's why I was.
I mean,
I wanna address something else. Now, we're all familiar with that term, right? Are those trees? Because even as it is now, you
Yeah.
can barely see anybody crossing that street. I don't know, you know, I'm not gonna admit it, but it's dangerous.
yeah,
But you can't see someone until you get right there.
so
So are those trees on,
they're back out of the sidewalk.
yeah, there's parking there still, right?
There is parking here, and, you know, we're shifting because we've moved the opening down.
right,
But you would leave, you know, moving right into your other questions. We would have a space of 20 feet here.
Oh, I see.
And so anyone coming this way from the alley would have fantastic vision of the cars coming.
right.
So you're saying, okay, just, you know, I'm not an engineer.
Yeah.
So when the darkened part ends, there's a sidewalk
this is all pedestrian space. That
Okay.
is our.
But that little white space before the cars look like they're
On the
parked,
sidewalk.
that's a sidewalk.
This is
Okay.
sidewalk.
So they're gonna be back off the sidewalk.
This is sidewalk.
right, so can they see that?
Yes.
I mean, can they see?
the sideline.
That's what this whole
Okay.
drawing is about, so starting up here, there's a 20-foot triangle. That
That allows them to see.
allows from up here, and by the time you're down here, I probably can't see it, but I've got little arrows. Your vision opens up, you can see the people on the sidewalk.
Because that is a problem, not only,
Of course,
it's a problem that exists now.
yes,
So we don't want to allow any more coming in here to have that same
well,
problem
you're
when
legally,
they're coming out.
you're legally required to stop at the alley, and presumably one would add a stop sign.
How
Right,
about a bump?
paving, a bump, whatever you like. And so they would stop right here, and this would allow the driver to fully assess what's happening. And again, the trees are, they'd be above the sight lines, but it wouldn't matter because they're out of the way as it is.
So if you work with TPW, suddenly, are you saying that you get, I mean, it's not really your property, it's part of your site plan to get a sidewalk there?
Well, no, this,
So-
No, so I was just, it's stop sign, it's for Easter, a stop sign.
well, we can talk about that. Maybe I misspoke, but I did look it up, and you're required to stop, and now at all the alleys at Hudson.
Yeah, because a lot of them don't have that stop. It's assuming that you're supposed to stop.
And
if you don't stop, you may hit somebody.
Crazy people kill somebody, yeah,
But now that we have the opportunity, we wanna make things,
yeah.
right and
This
enforceable.
would be regraded, so anything that you wanna put in that. Can go in there, we could do a crosswalk with stripes, if you want.
Do we have an upgraded lighting plan to now to light that space up? So that,
Well, we don't have a lighting plan for this because there are streetlights. Right here.
it's still kind of dark there, like lighting off the
No, I
building.
think the lights are coming from the two, what do you call
So
those
we
things?
have lights on our.
Gas filling station.
We have lights on our building here.
Okay, right.
And right now, this is just lit by the streetlights. I mean,
I would think you might want to
On the opposite side of the road.
Oh, there's street lights.
Yeah.
They would show, right, photograph.
Can we add them in? Well, I think the board should request some kind of like.
We need to request it for
Yeah,
now.
I think if 300 people are gonna be out there
It's in
at
one of our frequencies.
11:30 at night.
I haven't seen, I mean, even if it was,
This is stuff.
your submissions speak things, so if they, just submit an update.
Let me see, I'm at, the photo right here.
We just wanna make sure that the entrance and the exit of this project are safe for everyone.
Like in there.
Oh, yeah.
Along
Get the light.
Because, I mean, in theory, like I was saying to the engineer, you could put a light on a bollard, like you have all those, you have all those bollards.
These could all be lights.
Yeah, exactly, so.
Yeah, just consider it well, like
I mean,
that.
that's it, that would work, right?
A lighting plan?
Fantastic,
Yeah.
we'll do it, but make those illuminated bollards so they'll light the ground.
That's a suggestion, good, my suggestion, the board wants it.
Excellent, yes.
There's only limited residential in that area, other, it's a hotel, and there's apartment building.
We're very low.
That will not, yeah.
Will the lights change? Can they be LED to change with the mood of the play?
You
Gonna not.
We have different colored books.
As somebody else said, can we get that in the letter, please?
Like Christmas time and,
That works. If you're gonna light it up and then allow them, we'll just put language in there so that people can exit, have multiple exits and as well lit. Seems fine to me.
What kind of signage are you having?
So.
And the bulletin board that lets people know what's happening here,
We don't have a bulletin board yet, but that's an excellent idea.
no, don't take that as an idea.
We have this sign here, which will be the theater sign.
Oh, here we go.
And that is, as of yet, undetermined, but that was at least approved by HPC, they've approved this interior of the building. And these little triangles are just basically, what they call sign lights, just designed to kind of hit the doors up. and give a little spot of light, so when you're coming down the street, it looks pretty. But I think if we did the bollards here, and we like the street lighting there, that should be plenty of lighting, we don't wanna overlight the place.
And I wanna ask, and I want to go to, see if they agree, that we get a full colorful rendering of your final plan, because you know what I'm finding out is that we're approving things and maybe not getting that final rendering, and then when it's built, like, I didn't approve that, what is that?
Well,
So, you know, something is
he approved your final rendering, right?
Yeah,
This particular-
so when you say rendering, do you mean?
like something, yeah, something
Yeah.
like that, to know
Yeah.
exactly what we're gonna be looking at.
Right,
once it's
so,
built.
you know, what we did and what they approved was, this is how it looked in the 19th century. And this is how it looked in the 1950s, right? It turned out, we originally thought this was part of this original building, and they just restyled it, they've taken it down. And built a whole new building in the 50s, it was a car showroom, so that will actually light through the glass.
So, but those trees are not gonna be there,
Well, I
those are
hope,
all trees.
So,
no, there's a little person.
so I think what we need is whatever you submitted to HPC for approval, please add it to your plan set and just.
It's all good.
It is there, and like I said, there isn't a new submission, so I did not look at it this week to confirm, didn't see.
Oh, did you?
And then, do you have a separate landscaping plan? I know it's limited on landscaping, but I think you should
I'm
have it.
embarrassed to say that is our landscape.
I mean, I still would want, like, I mean, again, this was submitted like today, but you'd still want like plantings and.
And then you can reference,
You could do a lighting and landscaping plan, like you just have to have something small, it doesn't need to be this like, you
What
know,
is that?
extra.
that's the element, that's the section.
Yeah,
Right there.
yeah.
Okay,
So-
that doesn't look.
So actually, this is so useful, thanks for pointing that out, Randy, so in that picture, this is the white part. And those two little trees are right here, and they're barely as tall, you know, they'd be miniature crab apples or something that would never get big.
Will
So,
they block the view of?
no, that's what I keep saying, I'm desperately trying to get across that they'll be tall enough down here. So a person in a car sees underneath, because that's the person you really wanna see, you know, have see. And then height wise, they'll stay low because we want you to see beyond them also. So this is meant to represent about the scale, so really not taller than the existing one-story building.
So can you just point out where those trees would be?
Yeah,
And where those curb stops are,
and what?
They're right here.
those two curb stops right in there.
Yeah, they're just right past the curb spot, the triangle with the trees would be right there, so you come out. And there'd be an open area, and then the little triangle with the trees,
There's 20 feet
right here.
on
So-
this side of
So
it.
you can imagine the new driveway will be down here,
Right.
and those trees are up there, so they're. Right up the block.
When you're sitting in the vehicle, you should be able to see all the way up to the corner, to someone pulling around.
Like I could see all the way. up
And
to-
technically, you could have a building right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, out an alley, right.
Yeah, this is, just keep in mind, yeah, this is the edge of the gas station, this is the blind spot, this is my call, like, when
That's your car?
yeah, when I go to pull out.
Go ahead, Brandon, get it in, drive, carry it all in there.
You really get, yeah, if you
Yeah.
pull out from that spot there.
But
So,
how about
that's
that
a
tree
fine
in
yard.
there?
Yeah, so that, the trees aren't gonna affect that.
They should,
Nah.
that's what I'm saying.
There's, for the ones in the planter, they're also labeled as 6 crab apple trees.
But also, you're gonna have an improved property with nice landscaping, nice lighting. People are not gonna drive past it, people drive past that thing because it looks scary.
No, we agree,
Right.
we agree to that, we just
Like,
wanna make
get me out of
sure,
here.
yeah, we agree to that, we just, I mean, I agree that, it's just wanna make sure that it doesn't obstruct any vision coming in and out, because that's something that exists now. You know, I mean,
Right.
I live here, and I'm out traveling around in my car all the time.
Well, again, I don't know if you can see this yellow triangle, but that's actually what the highway department.
Oh, yeah, I
requires.
understand.
In a non-alley situation, that's for a street, so the fact that it's an alley, somebody said, well, you have permission to have a building. There, and the driver would be expected to stop and make it complete. assessments.
So that was gonna be my question, and it was addressed briefly, but just because I don't know how it all works, I would love clarification. Because I was wondering about a crosswalk and a potential stop sign. So is that something that we can ask for?
Yeah, so what you do is so a stop sign needs to be coordinated with DPW, but you can request it. Well, you can ask the applicant to reach out to DPW to see if they would agree to a stop sign. And then if DPW for some reason says, no, a stop sign can't go there, if this is DPW because it's an alley, but if it's like a city street, if it's a, main road, it'd be like DOT.
Mhm.
But since it's a city street, you do DPW, so if Ron says, yeah, you can do a stop sign there, then yes, you can require it. So the next
Right.
step would be to ask the applicant, can you please reach out to DPW and ask them a curb stop, a stop sign, something, same, I believe crosswalk will also be needed.
Correct, but here's the thing with this is on a DOT road,
Oh, it is
so
DOT,
part of
I
the- this is Route 9 going through there. So as part of this work, they're gonna have to go to DOT, utility board, and start that coordination. So, prior to your next submission, we really need that permit started with DOT with response letters. So we know what comments they're gonna have in realigning this road. We're gonna need a detailed grading and drainage plan for this whole area, because you're gonna be reconstructing a long alley through there. So we wanna make sure that the grading works. And I would probably suggest replacing all the curb and sidewalk, along your frontage, so that you get the full 6-inch reveal. Looking at it right now, it's broken, deteriorated, it's less than 1.5 inches in spots.
We
and 3 or 4.
couldn't even achieve this with what's there now, we'd have to reset it.
The sidewalks were kept noted on.
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
site plan.
But it just needs to be a detailed grading plan with spot elevations, making sure everything works, making sure the
We want
grading.
to section 2 here, which shows how it rains.
Spot elevations, you need to put those in Long Alley to get it to drain, right? You're gonna be okay with you draining onto, their right of way. There's a lot of things that need to be answered prior to the excavation.
Okay.
And not just concept plan on the piece of paper.
And don't forget to add in a stop sign and crosswalk.
Crosswalk.
Yeah.
That would be for DOT.
See, and
Yeah, show it.
ask them if they can do it.
Yeah, you can always take it off, if for some reason you do, I doubt they'll say no, but we don't know.
DOT's gonna make, what a crosswalk, right,
Good.
with handicap ramps and detectable warnings and all that stuff.
And with that, that'll be great, because when you're traveling that block, it can become hazardous. Trust me, it can. I mean, I think we've all driven over there, right?
Yeah, and just the alleys in general.
Yeah.
Needs to do stuff.
I mean, has anyone come out of is it Third Street? Oh, not Third, where Short Street is, where the library is.
Okay.
Right, have you tried to come out that street?
Yeah.
You can't see anything.
Oh, really?
Right, you can't, you have to be almost in the middle of the street to see if anything's coming from either way, and I don't want this here. Okay, I mean, I don't think that's fair, if we can do something about it.
Now, separate, not really to address the applicant on this, but Christian, I just, could we ask, or it's not for them, but is it prudent to ask the city or put a note on for the city that recommended that should maybe be a one-way?
What street?
The long?
No, that street, the alleyway, they said it doesn't apply to that.
Oh, I see what you said, that they can't go this way,
They just don't
one
come
of the,
down.
one way or the
Exactly.
other.
Yeah, so what you would do is,
Figured
you as a planning board could send a letter to DPW and the common council, which is unrelated to your application.
Yes.
So, personal plan, so like the planning board could in theory draft a letter, I could draft one for you if you want, and then you would vote on it, and then that would be sent to Ron Perry and then the common council, and you get the common council to vote, it's their street, so they could make it a one way.
Well, which way do we want?
I would say,
I think-
Don't go down.
Yeah.
Going in or
going in, so you don't have.
So where they gonna come out at? On the little street, on the little 7th Street?
Yeah, cause that's,
Want them to come from the railroad tracks and make this alley.
Right, coming out to, on Green
Because
Street.
there's, behind that, the gas station, there's dumpsters and stuff.
right,
And the trucks come from the railroad track,
Yes.
pick up a dumpster, back up and then go out. So you wanna make it an alley,
Meaning,
Out onto-
like where the truck is
out
parked.
onto Route 9.
Okay,
So you
That's
want,
like
like, cars situated
the way
there.
the car's situated now.
Want them to come through here and go out. There are dumpsters here that they come pick up, back up, and
And
then.
Randall, to your point, I thought this was one way until Christian corrected me, so,
We'll talk about that.
I automatically, we both thought that, I always thought, I thought this was a one way, I didn't realize it was two-way traffic.
Well, I guess it's one way until you said it was not.
That's one of the great things about Hudson, all the alleys are wide enough to be one way and they're all two ways.
Exactly.
Which is, in this case, given that the use of this alley is gonna really change after this project is developed, it's a really good point. Because right now, who cares whether it's one way or two way,
Right.
nobody really uses it.
Didn't even
But
know it was
people are
there.
gonna use it a lot now, they're gonna be dropping off and
Yeah.
Uber, and so that's, I would definitely support that letter being written.
Everybody supports that letter being written, one way coming out onto Route
I
9.
don't know about the one coming out, but that doesn't weaken it.
Yeah.
You make that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Okay, well, we can recommend and they'll make their decision. Right.
So I
Right,
was
so I
gonna ask
think
you
it's
for
an
next year.
Cause our consultant said it's better to come out, so we're gonna do that.
Okay.
And, you know, and we'll write the letter and let them make the decision,
Okay, I'll have that ready.
cause it will be used, this way. It will be used, trust me,
Great.
cause if we make it two-way, people gonna be dropping off.
Exactly, it'll be a whole mess of confusion.
Back it up,
Yeah.
you know how many people have driven down the wrong way in Hudson?
Oh,
But then
I see that every week.
Every, yeah.
Every weekend, I see that.
Yeah, it's a little bit like a video game, so.
And just, I've been sitting in my car and I got.
All right, any more questions from the planning board?
I'm good. I'm good.
Thank you.
Right?
Any more questions from the public?
Nope, no one's, nope.
Okay, can I get a motion to continue this public hearing to next month, October the 14th, 2025?
Will you be ready, hold on, will you be ready for the 14th for the lighting plan, a more formalized site plan? A drainage, to start, like, is October make sense, or does November make sense?
October,
Okay, you're confident you could do that, Emma? Okay.
Our engineers are not really on side of it, so we said fine.
Okay.
The coordination with the
so can I get,
We're moving forward with you guys at a.
We just can't do much until we get that coordination back from them,
Okay.
whatever comments they might have.
Alright, so we'll come.
Yeah, we can't approve it, but if you put it on the plan, at least they can discuss it.
can I get a motion to continue this public hearing to October the 14th?
Was this sent out to DOT for secret?
Oh,
We went back and forth on secret provisional information.
we haven't done it yet.
No, we sent it out to people, give it a second, so I will send it. We circulated it.
Oh,
We circulated to Department of Health, yep, Department of Public Works, so DPW, we circulated it out to DOT.
It'll need to go to DOT,
Yeah, because at the time, the swap wasn't part of the swap.
Yep. and they'll need to get a plan.
and I want to mention that you guys do have a resolution from the, was it common council, but it's not signed.
Well, no, we have the minutes stuff
I
that,
know, but let me finish, it's still not signed.
Okay.
Okay, so kind of insist that these things are signed, okay, because they do go in the public records. And sometimes everybody's not looking for the minutes to match the resolution, so the resolution should be signed. So when you get a resolution that's not signed, just go ahead and say, wait a minute, where's the signed one,
Will do.
okay?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
all right, guys, gotta vote.
See,
Now, can I get a motion to continue this meeting? Next month, October 14th, 2025, at our 6:30 PM meeting at the firehouse.
I will make the motion.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, thank you.
see you then.
Thank you.
So now we have new business. Like this, 3 Storm Avenue, are you present? 3 Storm Avenue? 3 Storm Avenue? No,
So they're not,
that's the chickens.
skip over that.
You here for the chickens?
No.
All right, so, you know, we look forward to, them coming next month, okay? Sure, they know. All right, now we're gonna go to old business, and one of the questions was why the, Congress on the agenda is because we need to continue our discussion. Last month, we got a little bit. Let's not do that again, let's keep our heads level, let's keep emotions out so that facts can be on the table, okay? So we went over a couple of things. Did anyone get a chance to read the minutes? They were pretty, you know.
I read in my meeting comment on it.
Yeah,
so that
that
was
was changed.
Yeah, I looked at the
Because it
minutes.
left my hand out.
So there were a couple of things that was said, but I was not sure we all agreed to have it done. You know, I mean, I don't remember us voting on anything, saying, oh, we don't this and that. And Gabby came up with quite a few things that. I don't.
And I said one or two things that are not included in here, but it's fine.
Before we start discussing it, can I just say on the record that I think it's problematic that in our last meeting, we discussed having Russo application on the agenda during this regularly scheduled monthly meeting and decided not to have it on the agenda and to have a special meeting later in the month. And then suddenly it's on the meeting and the agenda is shared today. I find that problematic. We had a whole discussion about having a separate meeting for this. It was said that there wasn't time to have it tonight. And now here it is on the agenda.
Tonight's meeting is for us to talk, and you have to put it on the agenda for us to talk about it. I was thinking that we could have talked about it on the other business, but it has to be on the agenda. So this meeting is for us to kind of go over some of the things that was asked last month. I mean, we're gonna start off in an orderly manner. And then we're gonna go through things, and then if anyone from the planning board has other things to add, then we'll give you that opportunity to do so. Now, at the last meeting, it was something about the emissions, Randall, remember that? You wanted to do some type of a test.
Yeah.
And, Veronica asked a question as to, we all asked a question, what kind of test is it? You know, what would it do? You know, and, we left it there. But we were able to realize from what you had said that there is such a test, but that test would not help us any because there's so many things down there, like the train, that gives off more pollutants than anything that would,
Oh,
what would we
okay,
do
so,
with it?
okay, so back up, so you know that because you discussed it with.
With the consultants, with the engineers.
Yeah,
Yes, we
so, you should tell the board that
Yeah.
before, that you discussed it with the engineer.
And their opinion was that.
No, but it was brought out about the training, even without.
Yeah, that's
discussing it.
Sure, but it was backed by the engineer.
I'm sorry, can we back up? You're saying this is just for us to discuss, but
Right.
we're discussing the application, which last time we agreed we would discuss in 2 weeks from tonight.
And we're gonna discuss it again if, on the 23rd, that's when they're gonna come and we're hoping that they come with all the things that we're gonna send to them.
So I'm the
Tonight.
only one who's confused by this?
Well, no, what we're talking about, what happened was that I spoke to the consultant. We had a chance to speak to the consultants about my question.
Uh-huh.
And what the consultant told me was that it would be hard to isolate it down to a single source, that the train emitted a lot of emissions and that the tests were gonna be very expensive to try to do that. So I'm kind of bringing that report.
I get that, I'm just talking about whether or not we were gonna have this on the agenda
Oh, yeah.
or
And
not.
we're gonna also, we're also gonna have a meeting on the 23rd.
Yeah.
To where Calusa will be there and hopefully.
Yeah, I'm not addressing the agenda,
Yeah.
I'm just addressing
Right.
I'm
my
just,
conversation.
okay. I don't understand, after the meeting we had last week, which was very clear, because I was saying, why isn't this just on the regular monthly meeting? I'm sure we all don't wanna come here twice a month, including these lovely gentlemen, I'm sure they agree, and it was said, we're having a special meeting, we're doing it on a separate night. Because we have other business during our regular monthly meeting, and now it is on the agenda, which we only got a couple of hours ago, and I'm saying I
No,
find.
Gabby, the agenda is posted. let me finish. I do it as a courtesy to send it all to you. But the agenda was posted, I think, Thursday or Wednesday. I don't, yeah.
Thursday.
So that is up to you guys to look at. I normally do it as a courtesy to send it to every member and other people that have asked me to.
I know,
But the agenda is posted I try to get it on Wednesday or Thursday. You can always look at the thing and get the agenda.
yes, I think I saw it on.
And
Friday or Saturday.
normally when I send the agenda out for our secretary to review, I usually add you guys to it. But when there's corrections on that agenda, they're not included. So this time I somehow or another, I didn't even add you on there. I don't, did you put the agenda before today? No, anybody, what doesn't, but the agenda is posted, so I would let you know, go to the.
Yes, I saw
Right,
the
okay.
agenda, I believe
So,
on
and if you
Friday.
had looked, you would have saw that.
I did, I saw the agenda, whether it was Friday or Saturday, I can't remember. Either way, it's just a few days. We're having special meetings once a month because it's going to take so much discussion, okay? But now we're also adding it to the regular monthly meetings?
Yes, we are. Alright, so now, we wanna go over some of the stuff that was, we talked about emissions, so Randall, are you satisfied with what you found out from the consultant?
So can I hear again what you found out from consultant, because I actually made some valid points last week too, that and it was in the minutes. That is correlational at best, there's so many other factors, as well as the engineer's report. Said there's so many other contributing factors, and there is no particular, I call it it's cause and effect. You can't say this specifically caused that, okay, so that's why I'm saying it's correlational at best.
Which I personally disagree with, but the consultant said that. It would be hard in their opinion, it would be hard to isolate the truck traffic from the train traffic,
Most research,
from the other
most
traffic.
researchers would know that.
I do want to put on the record that, I had asked, even though seeker that's a settled issue. We're going on, my assertions are based on the code, the Hudson code involving safety. And so I had asked the question, can we get a scanner? I mean, you can get a handheld pollution scanner and find out. But then the question was, then what do you do with that information? So there were other questions, so. It's, in my mind, it's a continuing conversation. I just want to make sure that the levels are safe. To the best of our ability to determine. And so but as of that particular test, in terms of what the consultants would do and the price of that particular test, it seemed, a non-accessible thing at this moment.
Okay, any more questions about that? Okay, so can we move on to noise? We talked about that, right? About what kind of noises.
So you left off
We left off.
with Paul Russo providing the noise studies all the way back, they're old, all the way back when we leave the hallway.
Right,
And we agreed to
So-
that, did you?
well, a noise study for the dock as it's currently operating, I think.
That's.
Well, they were gonna provide the noise study and then they didn't see if they, I guess, ask the applicant to include it or not.
Alright, yeah, so, we do have a noise study and it was for the dock operations, just to be clear. I think it did cover a little bit of the hallway, but it was the noise receptors and the evaluation was of the dock. And we are gonna submit that to the board again.
And one of the things we're gonna do is get a precise, what we want from the board to go to you in writing.
Yeah.
We did speak about a lot of things, but I can't see where anything was confirmed.
And in that noise study, there were recommendations that were made to help further mitigate the noise. And like I said, at the last meeting, in our next submission, you'll see that we're willing to put those into a best management practice, which the engineers can look at and.
And can you remind me what year that noise study was done?
I don't know off the top of my head. I have a copy.
Because it was.
If you don't have it now, when you provide it, just let us.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be an attachment to our next submission. We'll
Right.
put it in there.
Do you know what mitigation measures were proposed as part of that study?
It was, not off the top of my head. I know there was a few best management practices, things, speed on the dock with the trucks, slamming tailgates with the trucks. There's a way to load the barges, a certain way that reduces noise, things like that.
Okay.
That would be incorporated into best management.
Is there a way
practice.
you could incorporate all those in your next submission?
That's what we're planning to do.
Okay, so the plans for whatever, it has all those
That's already in the works.
listed out for that.
Yeah, to be conditions to the permit as best
So
management.
you'll do like a narrative, these are the.
Correct. And include the study as well, so you have what the engineers actually said.
Now, just to jump back, you submitted a truck study emissions today, right? Or yesterday, recently?
The other day, he's just.
Yeah, I
We
was,
submitted
Yeah.
a 170.
I do see, I'm looking at it now. So we haven't had a chance to review that, I'm just saying.
That is
It
We
completely
was, yeah,
understandable.
the consultant has that too.
Yeah.
174 page yesterday, we don't have a chance, I looked at some of it, but
No, that is completely understandable.
that's, it's not, I can do something else. Okay, that's one of the things, so. You will be submitting a study, is that what we all want? Yes. Yeah. All right, now, one of the things, we have to go over is the hours of operation. Now, the dock can operate as is now, the dock can operate 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And that's what you're doing. Yeah. And we, I mentioned, I said something, but I don't know where it went. About maybe limiting that to maybe seasonal in my thought. But in the minutes when I read, I think Jean had said something about, Jean, you said something about the weekends and holidays. I was saying, what do we wanna do about that? Yes, a plan for, see, that's about. Right now, they work the dock, that's not the trucks, that's the dock itself, the dock operation,
Right.
they actually load the barge. And whatever they do, did you get a chance to visit?
Oh, yeah, I had such a great time. Yeah, I might have to leave the board so I could apply for a job over there. I'm serious, I had a great time, thank you guys.
Okay.
Yes, I
So the
spent,
operation,
I saw everything,
okay,
um,
so, because you didn't see it yet,
I have not, no.
okay. So what do you suggest,
Remember
Okay.
that the whole road is limited in its hours.
already,
complete.
right, but not
Right,
the
but
dock.
not the dock.
Not the-
Five P.M., Monday, 7 to 6, and then 7 to 5 on
That's-
Thursdays.
That's the whole,
And then no holidays.
No holidays, weekends.
that's the whole,
Correct, so
we're talking about the dock.
operation, correct.
And the dock works separate from the hall road, because
Close there.
items could be left on the dock for them to continue.
Well,
barges can be loaded,
Barges
work
can be
can be
loaded.
done at the dock
Yes.
without the haul road
Right.
being used.
So, we want, what do you guys think about that?
well, I have a question.
Okay,
So for recreational vehicles, obviously, there are gonna be more boats and consumers, vacationers around the dock on the weekend. Do the barges or that kind of traffic to dock, does that cause any additional harm or potential for accidents?
On the river?
On the
I
river.
wouldn't think so, because they come in and they probably just stop there.
Right, I'm saying, as they come in, as they
Traffic
leave,
user on the Hudson River.
remember we went there, after the meeting last week, we went there.
Yeah.
And what was there?
it was, well,
We saw a tugboat.
yeah,
there
I'm
at
talking
night.
about boats, I'm talking about regular
But the thing
recreational
is, I didn't
boats.
know they're down there that late, we saw some red blinking lights. And it was a tugboat, so they're there like 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Sure, they can
Do they stay there?
That many recreational things in Hudson or on the river?
Yeah.
Yeah, right there,
Well,
there's,
I go down with my family. and
yeah, the people that canoe, like during the weekend.
There's the sloop club, there's tons of recreational boats down there.
So I think that would be my question, there's canoes, there's small watercraft, there's a ferry that goes back and forth. Does the presence of the boats, tugs coming, docking, the tugs that push them, does that constitute any greater danger to the public? That would be my question.
I can answer that right now, I can look into it.
Yeah.
That would be
And I
my
don't know
question.
that you can regulate barges on the Hudson River.
Yeah, so that's not that's not something.
But one
No,
of the
but we can
questions was,
regulate the
The dock
transport
operation,
of
so you can.
Right,
material
that's-
onto
exactly.
which affects the number of barges on the river.
Yeah.
well, one of the questions that you had asked was how many barges did they do? I think you asked that.
Yes, and I believe the answer was it varies greatly,
But
and
I remember them saying in 2020, vaguely, it takes several trips to load a barge, am I right? But then, come to find out that barges come in different sizes.
Correct.
Okay, so that threw that out, but on 2020, you did say something like, it was about 2 barges, maybe, or 1 barge a week, because it takes 7 trips to load a barge. So, but the barges come in different sizes.
So what I would do here is I would try to limit it and figure out what hours you as a board
Yeah.
want to ask Colorado if they're okay with. Start with weekdays. Are you okay with 7 to 7? And does the board decide whether that's good? And then move on to the weekend. Do you wanna
It's
restrict?
justification, so you can't,
Right,
the code has, okay, so legally, the code has already provided 7 to 7. If you're going to make it as a board more restricted, you have to tie it to something. Noise, in theory, could be a reason, we don't have the noise thing. So you have to have a reason, you can't just say, oh, I just don't want them working on Sundays, like that, you don't have that power as a board. But if you have a safety reason or some kind of a reason, justification, you can limit it. So if you wanna limit it on weekends, why do you want to limit it? That's it. Yeah, I'm not saying yes or no, I'm saying you can just tie it to something.
Well, doesn't the code also say that our job is to make sure that one business or activity isn't creating undue, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Undue harm.
I'm so tired. You know, that there's a appropriate balance
Correct.
of uses and the
So-
consequences and effect of those uses. So
Yes,
I-
but the code, okay, so yes, but the Hudson planning board, like, sorry, that's better. The Hudson County Council, when they drafted this, decided 7 to 7 was the balance for the dock operation. So it depends on what you're talking about. For hours of operation, the code is pretty clear, it's 7 to 7. So for you to go against that, you have to have a reason. So part of every single provision has to be right in, like, you know, has to be right a certain way,
so,
so,
but then you say, you're saying the dock is not 7 to 7.
no, it is, it's 7 to 7, 7 days a week, yes, it is.
7 days a week.
It's very clear in the code that it's 7 to 7, 7 days a week.
That's something we brought up last,
And the whole
last
road
meeting.
was as well.
The
That-
whole has
But on the whole road, voluntarily agreed to reduce those hours to what they are now, the council
Right.
have said. Dock is still 7 to 7, 7 days a week. Trucks aren't coming through the gate
Okay.
those times.
No, I understand that, but I thought actually you were using it later than 7, but that's, no, okay, on the weekends.
No, 7 to
So,
7.
so I'm
Okay.
thinking, you know, I had mentioned at the last meeting that you know, and that's just my opinion, not everything, I wanna bring it out on the board. That may be seasonal, in other words, that they close for weekends and holidays during the summer months. When the park is crowded and that area is just booming with visitors and people and children and
But
everybody.
that might be the height of their business. During that time, so.
Whose business, their business?
Yeah. Construction usually is in the peak during the summer months.
I definitely know that.
Peaks in the summer months?
Yes.
Construction, yes, because.
Yes, it does, and it's down during like
Being up there,
winter.
and the summer months, the only
For
time
about
you
2-3
build
months.
roads and bridges and buildings.
I don't see that as construction, I see that.
It is part of construction.
That is part of
Yes,
construction, and that's what the material goes for, it goes for your aggregates, your road base.
We're not saying closed, but how about, okay, nothing, I can almost guarantee nobody's gonna be in the park 7 a.m. in the morning in the summertime.
people are walking their dogs.
Well, they're walking their dogs, but
Yeah.
you know, the activities are not starting at 7. So what about, and I'm talking to the board about limiting during the summer months when there's more activity down in that area. From 7 to 12 noon or something like that, not completely closing.
On weekends,
Yeah, weekends, definite weekends and holidays during the summer months, not every day of the year, but during the months
from
that,
June to August, I'm just trying
when
to,
does summer start?
it's a June.
Summer start in. Summer starts in June.
So while the board thinks about that, I'd just like to point out that it is true that it has to be tied to a safety for residents and those recreated. And there
Right,
has
and
not
that
been
is
a
tied
single
because you have
incident
more people
of
now.
large or an activity at Collins's Dock since they purchased it in 2014, which is 11 years ago. So just want to put that on the record.
It doesn't just have to be about safety, though, it could also be about quality of life, it can be about economic development of the waterfront, it could be about you know, there's a lot of things beyond safety that the code asks us, in fact, demands that we look at here.
So,
I would submit that with our business specifically, it is limited to those two. With this, the health, safety and welfare, it's necessary, not, it would improve it, it is necessary to prevent impact to their, it's necessary to protect health, safety and welfare of the residents and the recreating public. That's how the common council decided that was the formula that was going to be used to find that balance. That's what they came up with.
so what do you guys look at?
Well,
I was saying maybe, you know, seasonal.
I'm not looking at any changes, yes, it's not seasonal, especially, that's during the season, the high season.
So you're saying just the 77 is okay?
I think it would be great if we had
There may be some diminished on a weekend, but there have to be reason, a specific reason attached to it as to why.
Well, let me just ask this as a knock-on effect.
But,
When you
Wait,
load,
Randall, she's talking.
what's this from here? Are you
I'm
trying
talking
to?
this in gen, I'm
Oh,
talking.
so I-
But one person at a time, so I wanna hear what you got to say, what you have to say.
Well, it's, I'm just repeating myself, I mean, you know, you're asking a business at the height of their business, busy season in their business to close down for that time period, how fair is that too also? Well, it should be some modification, but how much modification?
Maybe from 7 to 12 noon.
But we're just talking about on the weekends, right?
Yeah,
We're not
the weekends and
asking the
holidays.
business to close down completely, we're just talking about, I mean, many businesses are closed down for certain numbers of days a week. And, you know, still make as much as they need to.
I understand what you're
And then
saying.
why not 4 o'clock? See, what, how do you define that 1 o'clock? is-
Okay, I'll answer. I was thinking that on the terms of, during the summer months, a lot of activity is happening in the fall. We have more visitors, we have more people going that way, spending time over there. And it probably doesn't start until about maybe 12 noon or 11 AM. I'm not sure, but I know, you know, I go out later and it's crowded.
What doesn't start until?
Like, if they're having something at the park activities during the summer, they probably don't start until 12 noon or 11. Do they start at 7 o'clock in the morning?
I mean, people use the park in all different ways.
I'm talking about like when they hold an activity, yeah, it is 10 o'clock, right? You know, when do you know when they start? Cause you visited once.
It depends on the
I
activity.
thought you were down the activity and you're asking one person to sort of.
No, I'm asking everybody what just happened to go to her.
If I may just answer where I think Ms. Hoffman was going with her question is to not have enough information on weekend activity to make a determination.
Right.
On the weekend, because trucks aren't coming in and coming out, max barges moving in and out on the weekend would be like 2. So that would be my barge leaving, so the activities on the weekends are actually a lot less
For your dock.
for the dock. Because during the week, you would have trucks coming in and out, plus that potentially happening. On the weekends, we would not have trucks coming in because we cannot haul on weekends.
I know, but do you haul to, do you, is your operation set that you, make sure that you supply your dock with enough work to continue on Saturdays and Sundays?
Correct, because we couldn't bring a truck in on Saturdays if we wanted to, we
Right.
had all permit prohibited.
So does that make now Monday busier? Because now that you've had these barges arrive over the weekend, now you've got to get all of that aggregate either in or out from the port, from the dock to the quarry. So,
It goes the other way.
well, from the quarry to,
From the quarry to the dock, there will be enough stockpile for the weekend, if a barge needs to be loaded on Saturday or Sunday, or 2 barges, the material.
So you're saying
will be
that-
at the dock, so it just needs to be moved with the excavator and just put on the dock.
so you're saying in that case, then Thursday and Friday would be your busy day to get as much stone onto the dock. So that you can then load the ships with the barges then.
If that's what the schedule requires.
Right.
It's all depicted on the schedule.
Can I just, what I was going to say, and thank you, TJ, or Mr. Rowan, since the formality is helpful, that we don't, I would love to have some information upon which we can have this base this discussion on, like, how many barges a year are being shipped out? How many tons of material? What does that actually look like when you break it down into monthly numbers, weekly numbers? I know it's inconsistent. You shared with me, that, you know, sometimes you're getting a last minute text and it's not gonna be on a schedule. I totally understand that and get that. But I think before we can talk about, you know, what is a reasonable business model, I mean, you know, we talk about like a bar, for instance, right? Has certain hours of operation because it's creating noise and disruption.
So, to your point though, a bar, the city, I'm making something up, I don't think the city wants analysis, but this, it does sometimes, I'm making this up, like, so let's say all bars in city of Hudson have to close at 2. And that's what all bars follow. Same, and I think this is a distinction I think that the board, I don't think necessarily is seeing. The code has already, in this particular instance, on this particular section of just hours of operation, I'm not talking about the other factors of the code. The hours of operation is very specific, just like the truck I is very specific. Meaning that when they did the EIS on the law, and when the common council reviewed the law, they determined, and that there was already a park next to this dock when they made this law, that 7 to 7 was appropriate for dock operations. The city would have determined that it was 2 AM for all residences of all bars is fine for them to close. So what you're saying in your bar scenario is that like at 12 o'clock, for example, that this particular bar would have to close at 12 because of noise. So what I'm saying, but what I think, I agree with you on needing studies, but what I want I want to narrow the board's conversation and point of. You can't just say, I don't want things on weekends because I think people are at the park. What harm is being done to people at the park? I'm not saying there is or isn't harm. I'm not on either anyone's side of who's harmed. But is it noise? Are you saying there's dust? I just want the board to be
Well, yes,
very
there is
clear
noise.
on what they're talking about. Because the city of Hudson already for this particular, just this 7-7 was so specific that for you to vote otherwise, you have the power. But you need to tie it to something specific and rational and not arbitrarily capricious, which would be the
Right,
standard.
Okay,
but,
okay.
but let me just, let me-
One at a
go ahead.
time.
well, getting back to boating safety. You know, boating safety is affected by large ships, even though we've been fortunate enough not to have collisions. There were about 4,500 recreational boating activities in 2022. Resulting in 700 fatalities and these are talking about boating issues around large ships because you have less visibility as ships come in. And you know, and small watercraft is trying to maneuver either around them and they can't see thoroughly. I'm not saying that necessarily for the limitation, but that would be the reason. Boating safety is definitely impacted by large ships and barges.
But you would need a
for sure.
study to show that is where my point would be.
But I wanna ask a
And
question.
show that in
On
Columbia County specifically.
the
Yeah.
weekends, do the barges leave and come?
We were just saying, they'll pick up, they'll basically just pick up what's loaded and they're leaving once, so they're coming and going maybe once.
Okay, but that can happen on the Saturday and Sunday from 7 to 7 PM, so
Well, that
you
can-
got movement.
Once it's loaded, it could happen around the clock. Once they're on the.
In other words, they come even after 7.
Yeah.
move, Like
Yeah,
they're,
they're
night.
24/7.
Right, and you're not involved,
No.
you're just,
No, you so they were not there, just the tugboat was there.
Right, we'll let them know it's loaded and then they pick up when they can. But you're only talking about one exchange, probably one exchange per weekend. Not tugs coming and going all weekend. They're just gonna pick up and head
Oh,
out.
okay, nothing coming in, just going.
I don't understand how limiting, unless you're gonna not allow them at all on the weekend. I just assume if we give them 5 or 7 hours, they're gonna get that tugboat loaded and on its way. Right, so they're just gonna work harder in that span of time to accomplish what they need done. So I don't know how limiting the hours is gonna keep any voters safer.
yeah, I wasn't.
I'm more concerned with noise than I am. I think it is really important to think about safety in boating and ask these questions. That's a good point, right? Like there is just the number of barges either coming or going. How many barges are coming and going on a weekend? That's going to
We're gonna,
affect the
we're gonna
voting
get into
question,
that. one.
right?
Right now, we're just trying to get
For me,
the hours of operation.
I don't have a problem with the hours of operation, but I do have maybe an issue with the number of ships. Because I
Okay,
think
we're gonna, but the hours of operation, you have no problems with? You
I
know, and then he just said, let me finish, he just said that the only thing we're gonna have is, the boats being taken out, nothing being brought in.
So could that be an element of what we approve? Or the conditions of what we approve?
What do you mean, like it's somewhere written in the?
That is 1 to 2, whatever the number is, that it's a defined number.
How would you enforce that?
And how would you justify only a certain
Correct.
defined
Where are you
number?
getting that number from? I'm not saying no, I'm just saying, again, everything needs to be rational and not arbitrary. Why, what you're saying, I'm not saying it has to be arbitrary, but right now you don't have any data. You don't have a study saying more than 3 ships would cause damage or noise or something. Or unless maybe the noise study says that, like you have to have some kind of evidence limiting to not make it arbitrary. So to answer your question, yes, you get them to disagree to it, or B, you have to find something that You have to tie it to, so everything just needs to be tied.
Well, this is why I don't understand why we're even talking about hours of operation until we have the noise study as it pertains to the operations today, so that we can understand what we're talking about.
So, to be clear, the noise study that, I'm just resubmitting the same noise study that we.
Exactly.
The operations, they pertain to the operations at the dock, have not
And
changed.
that, and it's already there, it's in your
Correct,
history,
correct.
it's just that you gotta search for it.
Yeah, I'm just
Back in
really
2017.
resurfacing it
But
for.
so,
purposes.
but again, so the operations at the dock as they exist today are the same as they existed in 2017?
Yes, with respect to noise, yeah.
You just have to say that.
What do you mean with respect to noise? So you're saying you're loading the same amount of materials?
It's the same operation.
But
In other words, the
But the
time
amount,
of the.
but the amount
no,
of materials.
that's not what I'm asking. It's not about the times. It's about the amount of material that's being moved. If it's
Okay,
this,
we were talking about, I know you're connecting the times with the amount of material. And I understand that, but they did submit, and it's really in their thing, because I remember in 2020, that question was asked.
I'm asking very
So
straight.
she's
That's
asking.
not, yes.
The guy, the noise complaint, or the noise study was done in 2017.
Right,
He's saying there's been absolutely no changes to how many customers they have, how much they need to transport, selling.
The study.
Have to say that the study is still the same.
they're saying that it's.
So they're saying it is, so the next step, to Gabby's great point, would be Christian, which is why, like, we'll give it a brief review. And they'll say, it appears, they'll make a statement that none of it has changed, we'll need that on the record, which they're saying they're gonna put in their submission. Christian can briefly review the study or in depth, depending on how much review it needs, to say, I believe that, I mean, I don't know what it's really hard for me to, like, I don't know what the noise study looks like, to be perfectly honest, I probably read it during the Hall Road application, I don't remember. So if it just depends on how the study's written, so your engineer can tell you, which he will need to review it first. Whether or not it could be still stand for current conditions, and that's why you pay consultants.
Okay,
But if
With
the
all-
operation hasn't changed from 2017 to today,
Mm-hmm.
and the study basically said there's no problem then. It's gonna be hard to say there's a problem now.
well, okay, first of all, with all due respect, how do we know that operations are exactly the same as they were in 2017? It's 8 years later. I mean, it seems to me that an application that is submitted 8 years, and I know there's been lawsuits coming in all different directions, that things have changed, data has changed, there's information that must need to be updated. And I'm in this thing that was written in 2021, it says in here that there is different problems with the noise and code.
So Gabby, so when I do, let's say I do a lot of, so I like secret request, right, so I do a lot of like. Old subdivisions that were approved 20 years under zoning that didn't exist at the time, that's something that I do like a lot. So what I do in those scenarios is. Let's say the sewer system was approved, a sewer system was approved in 2001, SWIP stormwater has changed. I make that applicant, if the conditions have changed, like the SWIP law changing, stormwater changing, get a addendum to add to that study showing change conditions. So if Christian reviews it, or like you review it and you think, wait, how do we know this? And you can ask Christian, like we would have them give an addendum to the study. That's how we handle it. So the study will still be in the record, and then if you think there's, let's say, the study said there were 50 barges, I have no idea what the study, I don't remember the study like that, 50 barges, and you think they said there's 100, you would then have them do an addendum to the study to account for the additional 50. That's how that's handled.
So my point is, I don't see how we can talk about hours of operation until we are talking about the noise as it exists today.
Well, it's something that's something we need to talk about and think about, we don't have to make a decision on it today, but we should bring it up and talk about, discuss it. You're saying that it's gonna be hard for you to make that decision without knowing other factors, fine, but that may not be the thought of others.
No,
So
I'm only
yes,
speaking
right,
for
okay.
myself.
But sometimes we just,
Yeah, just to
Yeah.
clarify that point. I think, like a traffic study, it's not volume of traffic, so it's not the amount of times a machine goes off during the day, it's. If you have a site that has 5 big pieces of machinery, you put sound receptors, you run the pieces of machinery and see what the level is. If it's within the code, then you're okay. It doesn't matter if the machine, as long as the machine goes off during your hours of operation, it doesn't matter how many customers we have or like the type of material. I mean, mean, technically, could the material sound different? Sure, but materially, from a sound receptor, you're not gonna know the difference between this type of aggregate and that type of aggregate being put into a barge. The sound study looks at, what do you guys do? We load barges, okay, load the barge and we're gonna turn the sound receptors on. What else do you do? We move the excavator. All right, do both at the same time, turn the sound receptor on. So those operations have not changed.
And typically, studies like that are done maxed out.
Yeah.
So if there's 12 pieces of equipment, they study it as if all 12 pieces of equipment are going off at once. So the worst case scenario, same thing with like emission studies. It's the worst case, like those trucks are running full steam, full,
Right.
full bore.
Okay. So
Okay,
sticking with the noise.
Yep.
In this document I have from 2021, it says that three specific measurements listed above all exceed the ambient sound level by greater than 5 dBA, which the code defines as unreasonable. One of those things is dumping material into conveyor hopper. Okay, so I was not prepared to be digging into this tonight because I thought we were doing this in 2 weeks and we were gonna get a whole bunch of information from you guys. Now I was gonna look at that information and look at this, but I'm just, right, I know, I'm just saying that this.
May I ask, what is the title of the document looking
yeah,
at?
with it,
Who prepared it?
It was prepared by the planning board in consultation with Barton, the two, is that how I pronounced it?
oh, that's right, what, it has
It's supporting information, evaluation and magnitude and importance of project impacts.
Oh, it's the resolution by the board to subject the haul road and the dock operations to an environmental impact statement.
I have to review it, I have to review what you're reviewing. We'll go, if it's related to the original struck down FEI, like EIS. Document from POSDESH, it might not be this, I have to see.
Well,
what it is.
You mean,
But even if-
put the application together.
Well, I have to review, I have to look at what you're doing about something that was made, I have to review essentially.
So for noise, we are going to, as we had planned at the last meeting, noise is going to be a part of that submission, explaining the information, explaining the noise study, explaining that the operations have not changed, and you have all of that. And incorporating the recommendation made in that study to further mitigate, but found that it was in compliance, but to further mitigate, and we're gonna bake those into best management practices as proposed conditions to the board. So that's already in the works.
Awesome,
I'm
thank
gonna
you.
ask the planning board engineer, can you please, before the next meeting, did Brian White's prepare a, well, I don't know, Gabby's looking at it, I apologize, but,
That's okay.
can you prepare, can you look at the
What do you
record
have of that?
and see what?
2021.
So let's ask, so we're gonna ask, it's the same firm, so let's have him go through the record and see. Did Brian make comments that were not addressed? Maybe they did an earlier draft and they already read it later, so let's just get a view, bird's eye view of the record.
Did you get a date on 11/18? 11/18/2020, because I did see something in 2020, but she's reading something.
Does it say Barton and Jukes on it?
Yep.
Or document?
Perfect. Thank you, Bill.
Mhm.
All right. So as far as the hours of operation, we wanna just. Do that, I mean,
Going from, where Randall sits with it, where Gabby sits with it.
within, I know.
And you should know where I sit with it,
Right,
like, you would answer.
and you know where I sit, and
I said, I have no problem with it,
If they need to be adjusted or,
based on the
Yeah.
little
Right.
information I have.
What happened?
then what's the weekends, the 7 to 7? I mean, the weekends does seem excessive.
It's 7 days a week, 7 to 7, holidays included.
Yeah, I mean, it does, for Saturday and Sunday seems excessive.
It's just that, during the holiday or Sundays you do, it can pose a safety risk because there are more people back and forth. Just being there. What can you tired to?
Well, again, I'm
I'm
sending you stuff on voting conditions, and July is actually the worst month for voting, conditions. Yeah. June and July.
Yeah, but you have to make sure that what you're gonna put for the record, which is fine, is for this to be.
Well, the
can't-
US safety, they're Coast Guard voting
You
standard.
gotta be careful about things we look at, right?
In other words, you're saying justification needs to be for any decision that we make, and that's just like with anything we do.
Right,
You know, you should have supporting data as to why you go about making a recommendation or a change for anyone.
Right, but that's what I'm
It's just
sending you
common
guys, 2024 recreational voting statistics.
yeah, the issue with statistics is you gotta look at the underlying metrics used.
Of course,
Yeah,
I'm
like,
not
was it
saying,
all-
I'm
was it
just,
New York City,
you asked me.
And you have to look at, is it peer reviewed, is it not, is it there's so many things that
And just to add, I mean, there has not been one, has there been an incident at the dock with somebody getting a barge? No, and that's, they've owned it for 11 years.
But you know, maybe you should have record of that in the record as well, for the submission, if you have something that says no accident report, why just put it in the record.
And if we're gonna be talking about this, I have a question. The barges that were loaded, there were 2 loaded the day I was there, which I should remember the day, but I don't. How long do they sit there sometimes before they are tugged away? The loaded barges,
Could be a couple days.
could be a couple days, yeah, cause I saw,
They were loaded to the top full.
well, it was so cool. One of them. I loved it. One of them was like, not at all loaded, and the other one was like almost completely loaded, and it was like 10 feet lower than the other, and then I was down there a few days later, and now I can't remember the days, and they were both loaded completely, and they were all the way down, I was.
Yeah, like sitting on the river, yeah.
Yeah, oh, that was, I know, oh, that was Saturday, cause I went out on a ferry ride, so that was Saturday, and I think I was there with you guys on a Thursday, so it was Friday, Saturday.
Was the day
Ah,
after the last meeting.
Yes, so it's a good 2 days later, they were still there, which I don't have an opinion about that. I just think if we're gonna start talking about voting and this, that, and the other thing, these are pieces of information that will be useful. How long the loaded barges can and often do sit there for.
And you're not, do you control that?
No. No.
How do you know when they're being picked up? Do they have to ask permission?
They just let us know.
So so you let them know that they're
Completed, yes, they're full.
and they don't tell you we'll be to pick them up?
Well, they give us an idea, you know, they load them on Thursday, oh, we'll be coming back through on Saturday or whatever that case may be. But it's nothing real consistent. Sometimes they wait, you know, sometimes they're on standby while we load. Other times, a few days go by.
Sometimes they're there at night.
Yeah.
Right, so they would be there all night long loaded for those couple of days.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, seasonally, when is your peak season for loading and unloading barges?
Summer.
If you have them, the summer.
What's the summer like? Would it be July?
Oh, yeah.
Summer.
I'm just,
I mean, when the river isn't froze, we like to move product.
okay.
That makes sense.
Would you kind of look at your operation and see if you can help us out there?
We can take a look at, some things and get back. to you. Yeah.
Gio, can I ask you a question?
No, no, don't, okay. As we were saying, okay,
Curious.
now you're being disrespectful, sir, please.
I was just curious, I wanted to ask you.
Please, it's just for the planning board.
Okay, I was just
Okay.
curious. when I said enough.
Okay, so,
Apologize.
we were talking about the hours, you're gonna get back to us, see what you can do. I still stand by my limited for the season, but they not be feasible. So let's move on to
Yeah,
truck,
I'm undecided.
you underside.
Yeah, I'm
You know, I still stand by my seasonal, but you're gonna get back to us on that, we'll have more conversation. How about the truck engine item, you already addressed that about, it cuts off doing. It automatically cuts off if the truck is just standing there waiting to get in,
Our trucks usually shut off at 5 minutes.
right? No matter what the weather is,
Just 5 minutes.
You have to like engage the clutch or the throttle.
You have to
It's
show.
just sitting there, just sort of shut off.
all right, any questions to that?
And that's some of the best management practices that will be submitted, so there's no, and you're not like,
Okay, so,
on the dock as well. Even as it is on the city streets for the city code.
And this will already be a condition of the permit, because it's already in your city code, but
And I
we'll
think-
put it explicitly.
and I think it's also controlled by,
And it's all, well, Clean Air Act doesn't regulate the dock. DEC doesn't regulate the dock, because it's the wrong,
but truck idle, who regulates that?
well, truck at the dock,
No, not at the dock, but,
on the road.
Right,
DEC, and then it's EPA, and EPA has a management plan with DEC.
and I know they regulated, because like I told the story, they were building a house next door to me, and that diesel truck was idling, and I called, and they said, wait a minute, you know, what is the weather? And at that time.
There is a cutoff on.
Right, it
But,
was doing that, right, but, you know, I asked God to cut it off, and he did, even though he didn't have to,
I would just, if you get a phone.
it just was so.
Yeah, you get fined, there is fines, Clean Air.
No, a certain, under certain, it was under the degrees that they would stay out of it, yeah. But I asked them, please cut it off, and he did. Well, I asked the owner to ask him. Okay, so, now let's go to lighting. What did we decide there, or what did we talk about there, this evening? I think we were talking about there is a light there, but when we went down there after the meeting last month, there was nothing. It
So
was
we're-
dark. No, I had said they should put a motion to pick it down there.
Correct, and both those comments are already being added to the site plan that we said that we would submit, and they'll be photometric.
So what do you think about that? Motion, well, if the tugboat is there, even that would set that light off.
Well, it depends, so if the motion sensor light, you can adjust the sensitivity, so if we had a motion sensor light, and the goal of the motion sensor light was if someone had. I think the comment was if someone walked from the park
Right,
onto our
right.
property, it would shine, we could set it so it would just illuminate the parking lot and maybe scare somebody off.
Yeah.
I don't think we set it so sensitive that like a boat, because then. I don't know, the wind would probably set it off.
Any more comments on that?
I'm excited to see what's on the site plan, and I like that idea a lot, Mr. Ruin.
They should address it though.
Down motion, if you wanted to please me.
TJ, I just read
Please,
this
all of us.
report.
I think
About noise. Did you read through it thoroughly? Cause it did seem like it was exceeding the 45 dBA. That's allowed by town code,
What?
according to what he
It's a
said.
noise study,
Yeah,
but I think there's a section in there about recommendations on how to reduce it.
okay.
Yeah.
I'll look at that.
Okay, yeah, whatever the outcome of the report is, we bake it into the narrative, I'll address all of that in there.
Okay.
Okay, we talked about visual impact, putting a fence to screen, we never really came about what type of a fence or how tall. I had said something about a mural, making that building so that, you know, you can invite an artist to do a beautiful painting or mural over there or something like that. We talked about, we're gonna need you to give us a plan on that.
Yep, the landscaping plan is already in the works.
And you're working with someone, you said.
Correct, we have our own landscape consultant, but they, at the request of, I believe,
done
local
people.
organization that we reach out to the Columbia Land Conservancy, and they've done that. And so they're getting input from them as well.
So include the mural as far as I'm concerned, about the building.
We're gonna respond to all of that in our response.
When I was down there, we were talking about a berm on the northern facing the property line, facing the park. And you suggested, JR, that we maybe bring you, Chris, or an engineer down to look at what would be possible. And I think that seems like a great solution.
I've kind of looked into the berm idea, and it is in a floodplain down there. So any additional material that you would add by you putting a berm up, you would have to compensate by digging, you know, lowering some area at the site. It's doable. They would have to agree to potentially lowering the other side of the dock down to make up for whatever berm might be putting in.
Yeah, we were looking at 2 rows of trees.
Yeah.
That would cover the operation on the
Yeah.
north side,
Mhm.
although leave a sliver where you could look to see the loading and the tugboat.
But not the actual operation.
Correct, and in the same manner, talk about removing the silo so you can keep the visual of the Catskills. Because there's no use for the silo.
So that'll all be in the site plan.
So those trees would be what height? You talk about the trees that would cover the bottom of like the concrete base of the building?
No, they would be to the east of that. As you look from the park,
Right.
They would be actually where the repair was done. But,
Right above that.
yes,
Okay.
so it would cover the loading, it'll also help with noise, and the visual. But if anybody wanted to see the tugboat, and the actual material going on the barge, they could. It would leave that open.
How
And
about
if
the
there,
front?
sorry, go ahead.
How about the front of that building, as you're driving in?
The front, we're working on a plan for you right now, which is, trees
Mhm.
and then vines up the side of the building.
What are you gonna do with the rusted metal?
Right now, we're talking about vines because of the price of the rusted metal.
Mhm.
And then maybe leaving it open if we could get financing down the road to put up new tin. But for now, we were talking about lines.
And the fencing,
For
Behind the line of trees.
did we talk about
Correct,
the
no,
fencing?
but isn't it, vines like on top of you
Vines
saying,
will go right up the side of the.
isn't it gonna, in a short order, aren't the vines as they grow, don't they then bend and protract, the metal, like if you put vines on brick, they kind of eat into the surface and then,
I don't believe, it's not the way it was explained to us, no. That's why we talked about that, but we'll have a rendering and a plan for you.
We'll confirm with the landscape engineer that that's not the case.
I'm gonna ask another question again.
I just wanted to go back to the berm because the trees would block the site and all of that, but the berm would really help, I think, with the noise, because the noise is coming mostly from the trucks and the loader, right, on the dock. And it would only keep exposed to the material falling down into the barge. So I don't know if it's out of the question in terms of this engineering thing, but I thought it was a great idea and it would be hugely helpful.
It's something.
You would have to compensate,
Right.
so for every yard you fill, you got.
We would just need an explanation.
Yeah, just an explanation writing of what we would need to do, and then we'll look at the site to be like, obviously it'll depend on how big the berm is, how much we would need to, and.
Okay,
You can make the stormwater basin bigger in the back of the parking lot,
Okay, that's fine.
and, compensate with whatever burn.
Well, yes,
It gives you the material too.
okay.
Okay, I wanna ask a question about the building. Now, that building became that way, hello, that building became that way because of salt that was deposited, right? So tell me, is that building gonna eventually erode to a point where it's gonna fall down on its own, or is it at a stage where it's gonna stay there? I mean,
It's gonna be with us a long time. The structure inside,
Right.
the beams are solid,
and it's,
concrete is solid. The only thing that really, was the tin. Structural wise, it's
sounds,
sound.
And what you see now, we've already removed the salt, is the old cement. That was kind of like hanging up there.
any more questions?
sweeter.
Don't forget the real.
I don't know, sweeter.
Do you wanna come to consensus on fencing, or do you want to?
Okay, the fencing, right, we did discuss it, but did we get to what kind of fencing? We were saying something,
I'd make the recommendation for some kind of chain link with slats.
Right now, we have 7 foot, chain link, with 6 foot, and then we have barbed wire, 3 tier, I believe, on top of that.
Yeah, the slats would go in between the chain link, give it like a break, we couldn't see through.
can't, you know,
Okay.
Board.
any questions from the board about that?
But that doesn't, I'm just thinking, the chain link is effective visually blocking it, but it doesn't do anything necessarily for the sound.
Correct, but if you put like slats in it, it would definitely get the sound.
Oh, yeah, I want there's some sort of acoustic, some sort of acoustic treatment that we could have maybe either behind or have the fence made.
The landscaping and shrubs will also help.
But like they do on the highway, like on the highway, when they're gonna reduce the road noise, they use like, those modular cinder blocks, but they use another acoustic type material which will reject the sound.
Typically, they'll put a large retaining walls, concrete.
Yeah.
Block the sound. I
Now,
don't know if that's something you would look at.
I don't know, I'm just saying this, that would block the sound and block the visual.
yeah.
Aesthetically,
potential
that's a whole different.
Those are, they're usually like an H pile with stacks in between them, concrete. They're kind of ugly.
They're hideous. And the sound, the real problem, I mean, Well, there's God, sorry, the eastern facing side, but the northern, which. A lot could happen, I guess, because it's not. Well, I don't know, this is a Christian question, but the northern facing side that faces the park. That would be again the floodplain issue with something that heavy, right?
Correct, you couldn't
Right.
fill.
Yeah, I would say, I was talking about for the front, I was talking about for the front, because this way, if the sound is
The
projected.
east side parallels the railroad track.
Yeah,
Exactly,
Okay.
So,
yeah.
That's what we call the front,
so you,
going into the.
So-
yeah, yeah,
I guess the question is then does the board like the slats and then do you want additional landscaping, but like behind the fence, what kind of landscaping you wanna see? Slash, you wanna ask the engineer what kind of landscape you recommend to mitigate noise?
I thought we were gonna see a plan,
You are.
Yeah.
right,
Yeah,
so,
more than a second, I guess if you wanted something specific. Then
You might wanna make a recommendation
Yeah,
that
that's
you want more than a tree every 50 feet. You're looking for a tree every 20 feet. You know, and a mix of evergreen, deciduous with shrubs,
But they have
something a little
We have a
more.
consultant that is
Right.
confident
So
that
let's
it's
see.
gonna meet our
Yeah.
standards, so.
We'll wait
I mean,
to see.
be more productive, we'll put in the plan and it'll address the vegetation, not only noise, but also dust and
Okay.
visual. And then let's see if you have any.
Okay, and we talked about public access, which we said and agreed upon, I hope that that is not.
that's not.
To the line of a situation one, okay? Now, if there's anything else the board wants to talk about, regarding Russo, ask questions of the man, not the man, but ask, then go right ahead. I'm just gonna take a minute to go to.
My last meeting, taking a break.
No, I can leave without taking this, we still have to go. But anyone questions, Gabby, Randall? One at a time, Randall?
Well, we're still waiting for the emission study for the consultant to go over that. I've sent you all information based on voting safety and what I feel might be considerations.
Well,
On to that,
Yeah.
so it should be in your email.
Randall, they don't have an emission study that they're going, like, what they submitted. If you reviewed it, it's not an emission study, it's like it's a couple sentences regarding like how it's not regulated and how they go to state inspection. So I just wanna be clear on like what you're looking for, and like, I understand what you're, like, I just wanna be clear on what is happening between now and the next meeting that is.
Well, I haven't had a chance to, because it was submitted so lately, I haven't had a
No, I
chance to go
understand.
through it, so. I
But
mean, that,
it's not an emission study, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
It's basically saying they're complying with local and state regulations. They have their vehicles inspected on a yearly basis.
we're back to the same issue that, we were talking about last time, which is. Sure, each truck is compliant, like every other car on the road, but cumulatively at a public. Crossroad is stopped behind the railroad crossing, what does that mean? For our public at the park and potentially at the Dunn warehouse, it doesn't address any of that.
And we addressed that in our letter, that was studied. By the town of Greenport, by the city of Hudson. When they granted the haul road permit, they went from the dock, at the gate of the dock to the quarry. And it mentioned the park. And this board wrote in the resolution that it's going to be a decrease in emissions in disadvantaged communities, and then approved 284 trucks. So the emissions of the trucks have been studied
And I think if there's.
and approved by this board.
right, but again, I'm not looking at it from that standpoint as much as we're looking at how it meets the code, not just for the seeker. That's what I said at the
I
beginning.
think if there's questions on the intersection of the two, which it sounds, honestly, to me, it sounds like there might be. I could clarify and try to find legal advice of like how. The parameters of the code, if there's questions outstanding, we could do it next meeting too, we could do it next meeting if you wanted more time to go over what they submitted, that's completely fair.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. And-
Well, does the board agree?
Well, so for this meeting or next meeting? You want
Next meeting.
Next.
Okay, so that's first, will you be ready for the 23rd?
Yes.
So.
Like that? I'm sorry, I just expression out of her face.
So the meeting will, so we'll continue to have that meeting, right?
So when you say ready, you mean
I should confirm, it should be posted.
It should be posted, we confirm.
with some of the renderings that we talked about,
No,
also everything, and including the responses to the questions that got submitted from the public.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, one of the things I wanted to, talk about is hazardous waste. Okay, you guys have said that you would not do it, and I know that the code, the EPA regulates hazardous waste, radioactive activities, all that stuff. But there's nothing in Hudson's code that adds to that or restricts something. And we understand that you're doing it on your own, but,
I think the code prohibits it.
It does.
It-
The code prohibits hazardous materials.
So the code will say. Council can advise you.
Yeah.
That my view, that the code, everything that's not listed in the code is presumptively prohibited.
okay,
So. If,
so you have to get a permit to,
no,
from
we would have to
EPA.
go to common council.
No, if you are calling something that's hazardous waste, you have to get a permit from the DEC, right?
If we were approached by someone to say, could you haul this hazardous waste on this barge for whatever reason we need for it, we'd have to go to common council, they would have to rezone the CR district to be able to have a hazardous waste management facility. Then we'd have to go to EPA to get a hazardous waste management permit, and we'd have to get a transporter's
So in other words,
permit,
this
none of which
is where-
we have, and we would have to go to you guys to approve the change in the use.
So you have to come back to the planning board.
That's
There's no question.
Is it?
If they change what they're hauling, yes. If they expand the operation and decide to start hauling these
Yeah.
other things, yes.
We can't go beyond,
But you're not hauling hazardous waste.
no, we can't. We can't haul waste, it's not a good, it's not a raw material, it's a waste, we don't have a permit for it, our view is it's not.
And we
even
just wanted to
included.
just say that on the record.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the, that is why I proposed the question, because we just, it wasn't clear, it's been in the public
You
comments.
can't bring it in, you
Oh,
can't. take-
I fully, it will be in our response to comment.
Okay, yes, I
Don't assume like we won't say anything, we will say everything, and we will say what we just hold.
I wanna make.
That
And
wasn't,
it will-
that was the intention, I thought.
Go ahead.
And in the submission on the 23rd, there will also be a list of the goods that are being.
Oh, yes.
Received and shipped.
Yeah, and you wanted to know, yeah, so you explained, you wanted to know about how many gardens?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I think all the questions I asked the last time, I still want to know the answers.
Yeah,
to
you
the
wanted to know.
amount of material being shipped, the types of materials being shipped, the amount being stored at any given time on the dock.
Yeah, the number of barges, the amount and type of material being moved. That's gonna be in your report, right? I can't remember something, but I have to research, but to submit it again.
I have noise studies. I have lighting plan. Landscaping plan, so PV landscaping. I have, how many barges, type of material being moved.
Well, to and from, things that they're taking off and.
That's all I have.
I wanna ask a question though. Now, when you take things off the barges?
So if, it's
And where do you, and okay, because when I was reading that, I didn't, where do you put them on your trucks to go somewhere, so you put them under the barge?
We put them on a truck, the millings we haul, we put on a truck and bring it to the quarry. And they end up in the asphalt plant and back on the roads. So it's a recycling item.
So the trucks are not only bringing stuff, it's also taking
Right.
stuff back. Oh, okay, that's.
Broken up asphalt.
mm.
If you go to the quarry, you can see it. It's cool.
I wasn't looking for it when I went, but.
And then whatever good or raw material is needed to be used, like the oversized transformers, the port is
Yeah.
open for those materials when they need to be shipped.
So you'll be able to give us some idea of what type of materials those are.
Or you can. Talk about waste, it's all how you word it.
Yeah. I'll respond to all of
Any more questions from the board?
Is that company still dredging down there? When are you supposed to have some dredging
National Grid
activity,
is
National
supposed
Grid?
to, yeah,
Have they started?
remediation on that.
they didn't get through DEC, they wanted more information, and then I let them know they need to come here.
Okay,
But do they, the question, you might have told them, but do they need to come here?
I'd have to see. the-
Well, I wanna make sure they came.
It's like, you wanna put them through what you're doing, 'cause, right?
But typically dredging is done just in the river with a boat.
Well,
Are we,
they're
are they
gonna
building
take,
a facility?
they're
Like,
gonna take the material out and
Oh, and
find
put
it
it-
on,
okay.
Powers the Rock.
Wait a minute, not, what property?
Say it again?
Where? Where?
I'm not sure
No,
what.
what's his name, TJ, please, do not,
JR.
JR, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
please, just
What do you want me to?
no, yes.
Okay.
Okay, the question I'm asking you is that, when you said on your property, you mean the undeveloped portion of your property?
Undeveloped. Their site plan is showing, where we have stockpiles outside the blacktop area. That would be their work area, they're gonna,
it's a Craig decision.
They have not been here.
No, okay, let's all back up.
well,
So
this is just
This is
talk,
all
right?
conjecture because.
Yeah,
Because,
No.
yeah, off the top of my head, I have no idea whether that's a permitted use, but only Craig can make that determination. And it's separate, they would just be the landowner, so it's not even their application, it would be National Grid who
right,
would come and then
Right.
Congress would.
So that's
sign
code
it.
enforcement.
Yeah.
I would never let them sign anything to permit something that didn't need to come before the city.
Okay.
The city and the planning board would not be doing seeker on that. DEC would
Oh,
work
yeah.
110%.
Do you see the way that meeting?
they met down there on the site DEC and they haven't got through that
You
process.
mean they've done all of that? and-
But if it requires site plan, I mean, they'll circulate to you, so it sounds like seeker hasn't, I don't know where they are with it, but. Seeker probably, you'd be circulated too if you were an involved agency.
But they're not dredging up contaminated or toxic material, they're just dredging.
They're judging the Hudson River.
And no, they're,
Well,
there's,
it's
Oh, no,
toxic.
It's contaminated.
It's
Oh.
sitting there, it is.
It's just making space for their pipeline, their new pipeline.
No,
no,
they're cleaning.
Okay.
You see the skeleton when you see the fish for the Hudson River, that means they're.
I don't know.
It's not shippy, it's the remediation cleanup.
Yeah, I believe so.
But who
I'm
would
just
be,
curious.
when it comes to Hudson, who
Oh,
would
I
be the
thought something
person to make
different,
a
I thought it was
decision?
just for the applicant plan.
But are we getting a little off the topic?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, let's focus.
Yeah. Let's focus.
Thank you, I'm sorry.
Okay,
I have a reason.
Can I-
okay, yes.
Speaking of coming before for permits, you mentioned on our site visit that you will pave the dock. Once you are given permission to do so, so the paving of the dock will be mentioned in this submission.
Yeah.
So, remember, the dredging reminded me when I asked about, could you be loading the barges farther south on the dock? And you explained that it wasn't deep enough. When I was out on my ferry boat ride a couple days later, I saw that the dock, it looks like the dock could be used farther down because of, because it's consistent all the way, right? So were we talking about the same portion of the dock, like, do you understand what I'm saying? The south of where the barges were is a whole other span of dock that looks usable.
Well, we use the entire bulkhead now. It's about 425 feet, that's what we're using. Back there is just, where, the other part of this job that we repaired, just with stone with the erosion. It looks like there used to be something south of that.
And what happened is the shoreline eroded and now it's shallow, so you can't get a barge much further south.
But that's south of the bulkhead?
Yes.
So, I'm so sorry, so my question for clarity is, when I was there, the northern side of the bulkhead was where the barges were docked. Are they ever docked on the south side
Yes, for offload.
for offloading? I see. And is it possible for them always to be parked on the south side, just to get them a couple of 100 feet farther away from the park?
No,
No,
because of logistics and loading and unloading.
okay,
Yes,
Your site plan shows both, because I haven't seen your notes, but it shows the entire, right, just north and south.
what?
The site plan shows the northern and southern part of the bulkhead, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
In other words, you own 25 acres of the front, but you only use 10?
What is
Something like that, 14, 12.
It's a 12 point, that parcel there is like
Yeah.
12.6.
But you own like 25 in total,
Yeah, and then there's 91, I think, in the south back.
and that's not being understood.
So, because when you're doing the paving, are you using like best in technology, like Chromeo pavers? Stone pavers, like to make sure that you're getting the best
Just the asphalt.
dust reduction?
Out there, they would not be using impermeable paver, it's gonna be conventional asphalt.
Is that the best solution?
What's that?
Is that the best solution?
For something like that, yes.
Okay.
To put forest pavement or something down there would not be practical.
Can we ask that, when we looked where the hall road ends, we wasn't sure if it was nice, you did say you were gonna pave all the way to the top, right?
It is paid.
It is paved?
We're talking about paving the actual dock.
No, I mean, the road that starts from the hall road all
It
the way.
was a
to the-
condition of yours, board approval to be.
To pave all the way to the dock.
It is actually, exactly.
Correct.
And that's done?
Yeah.
Oh, so rocks are coming from somewhere.
Well,
We
there's
went down there, we saw
gravel,
rocks.
gravel driveways and there's gravel parking lots that
That's true.
are dragging onto the new blacktop.
Right,
Correct.
you know, it's right on the road, you can't even tell it's paved.
So you're saying the best solution, the next stage of mitigation is just wetting it? Or is there another, or are there other methodologies to reduce dust?
The forest pavement is for stormwater remediation. It's to allow the stormwater to get back into the ground.
Right.
There's such a high groundwater there with the Hudson River, because they're not much above the Hudson.
No,
River.
I'm saying on the paving, when we said they're gonna do paving, I'm saying, in your opinion, is the gravel paving the best
It's asphalt
solution
paving.
for, asphalt, sorry, asphalt paving? Is
Yes,
that the best?
That will help mitigate the dust. And especially if they shed the water away from the Hudson River to a settling basin in the back, it'll help control erosion.
And that's the best, and that's the best of it.
Okay, so you guys come back to us, so you'll be ready on the 23rd, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, any more questions? All right, good, thank you.
Thank you.
So now we wanna get to other business. Other businesses, any committee reports? Planning board discussion, just have a discussion. Okay, now we wanna go to escrow. Gene, are you there? Oh, I just wanna say that Haley was excused for a job conflict. So he's been excused and Gene is here today, because he has a qualifiable reason for not being here, to be on Zoom, that allows him to.
So can we do the, he's not. He's not.
Gene, are you there?
He's not, I can see that. I haven't let him into the Zoom. I sent him the Zoom report. I mean, the Zoom link as well as the.
Okay, so everybody, I sent you the bills today, because we got them today. Guys, please give us the bills before the day up, that's all we ask. So did you get a chance to, any comments? Can I get a motion to approve the bills for payment?
I make a
Well,
motion.
no.
Alright.
Make a motion to, you have to say what it is, and then you part, like,
You just, I gave it all to them to look at, okay?
no, for the record,
Oh,
we
yeah.
talked about this.
Yeah, we
For
do.
so you just have to read this.
Wait a minute, I need yours too.
You're not.
No.
No, wait a minute, I can go online, hold on, I'm going.
I don't think we submitted them, yeah.
Cause if we, yes, you did, Jody submitted them.
Today?
Cause if we don't approve them, they're gonna back up to next week, and I don't do that. Gene has it all, but he's not, he's supposed to be not feeling well.
3 or 4 people?
Okay, let me get the bills out for the, so that they can put on the, so they can be on the, they can be on the minutes, right?
Yes,
Right, cool.
so yeah, you need the date, the bills for the date and how much,
Okay.
for the record, and then.
Jody submitted them, yeah, Jody submitted, Jody Downs. Okay. She's not, okay, I'm at a frozen,
I have no internet, so. I'm.
oh gosh. Hold on, it was submitted today. So. let's see. Anybody has, Randall,
Yeah,
I sent them to you too, look for Jody Downs.
right home.
Today.
Nice.
They're separate on the collab. Yeah, we just, they're separate. We need them all together.
Well, I see on the.
Go on your computer, mine's is frozen.
Which email did you send it to?
Martin Services, look at. Only one comes up.
All right, let's see, you sent me something.
Look at yours. Did you guys get a chance to see it?
Yes, on this.
Okay. So could somebody read off the total for, could somebody read off the total amount for, Jody Downs?
Yeah.
For B and L?
I don't have.
This is what I have the,
Read off the total amount for B and L. I have,
yeah, I got it.
Dave.
So
Okay,
the
so
date,
do-
what it
what
is,
is?
and how much.
Okay, so I have a bill dated September 9th, 2025 for Barton and Judas. And the total is 8,000, is that 86? My glasses, there we go, $6,081.25.
No, okay, I got it. That's not.
Well, that's what you said.
Sorry.
What do you mean, what you said?
Okay, that was, okay. Oh, that was for,
Professional services, August 16th.
that's for Victorian. I was looking for the Jody Downs ones.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
For Barton and Logistic. Yeah, the invoice, submitted, dated. Logistic,
Sounds nice.
was dated, September the 9th, 2025. And the total was $2,243.75. Can I get a motion to approve those bills?
I make a motion to approve the bill.
Second.
Right now.
And you read Barn?
I will.
No, you usually do them both.
Okay, let me finish this one, okay?
Oh, I suppose, I have a consolidated list.
All in favor? Okay, now we go to Victoria's bills. And, the date on theirs is, September the 9th. Linda has these bills already and she's going to make them away. It's 9th, 2025, and the
Yep.
total on that one is $8,003.14,
Where do you find that?
7/8.
It's not the Judici.
It's the Judas.
The Judas.
My godfather was the Judici, spelled the same way.
Oh,
Very
okay.
Italian,
Yeah.
that's not Italian.
It might be, they might.
And voting has been
Yeah,
shared
but it's
and,
Italian, right?
Are you Italian?
you don't see it.
You said the
I'm
total
not
is 8,000?
No, $8,003.14.
With firm back in the forties when it first started.
Okay.
You see it?
So it
Yeah,
might
it's
be-
about-
Yeah.
No, not Jody Downs, we're looking for, look at the email that I sent the email today twice.
I'm looking, are we looking at the 12/04 August invoices
So am I,
PDF?
and I'm not seeing 8,000 on
Yeah, see, I'm not seeing it either.
Look at what I sent you not to, maybe about 4 o'clock today.
Yeah, that was the one before, and,
Okay,
Yeah.
no, go all the way to the top, yeah,
It's on the second page.
yeah,
yes.
no, okay, this is being out, right?
yeah,
Okay, now, I sent you another one with, Rosenheim and Shell. Let's go out of that one. No, go out.
Oh, okay, let's see.
You see it? Now go to the next email I sent. Say good.
oh, so wait a minute. So then it's.
Are you reading from the Hudson vouchers?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I got
Okay,
that.
That's our
Alright,
voucher.
voucher,
Yeah.
yeah, the voucher, the first page is what I'm reading,
Okay.
not all of the
I
pages.
got it.
The voucher is the first page and the rest of.
Yes, $8,003.14.
Right,
Okay, got it.
So can I get a motion to approve, these bills to be paid?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now, can I make, anything else? No. Oh, can I get a motion to approve the minutes for August 12th and August 27th? I've got a couple changes to the you have some changes to the 27th.
Yes, and Linda said she would make the change.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Right. Did
We
everybody
should
get?
go on the 27th, what's the date?
Hold
Which one of them?
on.
Okay, okay, so any questions about the minutes? Did everybody get a chance to?
Yeah, well, no question.
Hello, is this G? Yes. All right, so
You can tell you already did us one.
Yeah, we did it.
Gene, turn down, wait a minute, Gene, turn down the volume on the live stream.
Okay, the bill for Victoria's Group dated September 9th is for $8,000 $300 and 14 cents.
Please tell them we did.
300?
No, it's what you said, you already.
We already did that, Jim, we already did, it, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but you have to correct your record, we have it's $8,003.14, not 300.
No, right, $8,003 and 14.
There you go, so yeah, that's approved.
Okay, and then Martin and Lagunas is paid at 99.25
Yeah,
for $2,243.75.
so we do that one. Is it in that same?
No, it's another email, it's a.
They send it separately.
I have one for 14, I have one for 14,000, one for
You
940.
guys already approved the bills.
We
Approved all of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Gene,
Yeah.
they've all been approved.
So you're.
But thank you anyway.
So.
But Gene, do you have anything to do,
Yes, so here,
I'm on Zoom, but I can't talk to you, I don't know why.
I don't see you not on Zoom. You're watching the live stream, I sent you a Zoom link. If you,
Yes,
yeah, but if you, after that, I sent you a Zoom link so I can let you into the room so you can talk to us.
okay, well, I've been watching this for 3/4 of the meeting. So.
Okay,
do you have anything to say about escrow?
Do what?
Do you have anything, did you get the latest escrow report from Danielle?
I don't know what she said.
she said, did you get the latest escrow account from Danielle?
No, as of 6 o'clock when I came from the doctor, no, I had nothing.
And I didn't say anything.
Okay,
Okay, so last meeting, we sent out a lot of replenishes and we'll look at it for next month.
The last report I got from her was August 27th.
That's the last one.
okay, and so, and you don't have any,
No response.
okay, and do you have any additional replenishment, amounts to advise us?
But I can't do that because I don't have their escrow balance sheet.
Gotcha, okay.
Do you know what the change
Yeah,
is?
she knows what they,
No, but you said you also would change this.
no, I don't.
Do we have to carry that part over, or we just do it next?
Well, if you know what the changes are, you can vote on it.
No.
He doesn't know, he doesn't
No.
have it yet.
No, we're
I
not
do
with the
different
minutes,
things.
we're not with the minutes.
I'm talking
Okay,
about.
so now can I, if we wanna mention what your changes are, so we can.
The only change that I noted in the last minutes that we did for the 27th was that my name was left off in terms of attendance. And Linda said that she would correct that and take it.
And you can vote on the minutes now.
Right, so can I get a motion to vote, to approve the minutes for August the 12th and August 27th?
I make a motion,
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
make a motion.
And I
All in
second it.
favor? I mean, a second, all in favor?
Okay. Thank you, Gene.
It's perfect timing because my.
Feel better, my friend.
Unfortunately, my. Feel better.
Oh, you're good. You should. Right.
Um,